Okay, this is a short video tutorial for ACCA Belfast for quiz writers, just to give you a feel for what we need to, what guidelines we need to adhere to make sure that we're all singing from the same hymn book. So what I have in front of me here is just the opening page of Wondershare Quiz Creator, and this is a F6 taxation income tax computations quiz. Okay, um, so in terms of the broad parameters for writing quizzes, you'll note from the email guide that has been sent out recently that each quiz needs to have 10 questions. Okay, that's 10 questions for each quiz and 10 marks for each question. So really in this phase one, every chapter in every subject is going to have a set of 10 questions in it, and the students will be undertaking the quiz and looking to get a mark out of 100%. Okay, with the pass mark being 50%. So what you need to do, apart from obviously writing good questions, and I'll come on to that in a moment, is to make sure that each of the quiz's parameters are exactly the same. In other words, that you have, for example, 10 marks down here for each of the answers, and that you definitely have 10 questions in each of the quizzes that you're writing for each of the chapters. Okay, so in terms of quiz setup, you'll be familiar already with how to set up a quiz, and I'll just run you through one or two questions here that we have within this F6 taxation quiz to give you a feel for it. As I say, do refer back to the email guide with regard to exactly what we want. So if we look at this multiple choice question here, the first one, you'll notice that it is a question. At the end of the sentence we do have a question mark. You'll also notice up the top here that we're using Calibri 10 as we said it within the email guide. Okay, other settings here of the feedback is by question. And over and above that, the only other thing is what I pointed out earlier on, that it is 10 marks, or 10% effectively, for each question. Now, this area down here of feedback is very, very important for us, because what this feedback area does, yeah, is allow us to, in effect, sort of tutor or perhaps even coach the student in a very simple sense as they're doing the questions. In other words, if they get the question wrong, they can click on the feedback tab. So it's very important that this area here, i.e. the incorrect question, has something in it. Now, it doesn't have to be a full explanation, it doesn't have to be two sentences, but you'll notice here what I've put down is that, dates are important in tax exams, be careful. Now, we don't want to be over familiar. In other words, I don't want anything too jokey in the feedback area, but what I do want is some sort of sentence there that sort of guides the student as to just a little bit more than just getting the answer wrong. What should they do, or what should they have done? Okay, so that's important. The other area is this area here, which is something that from the sample quizzes that I've had, is that people aren't adhering to. We cannot have spelling mistakes within the quizzes, so please do spell check after you finish each question, and indeed spell check again and recheck each quiz. Okay. Another point, just with regard to having full stops within the questions, we don't really need that. We don't need full stops here, but we do need full sentences up here that actually make sense. Again, we didn't get that within the sample quizzes that were prepared, certainly not all of them. Okay, so that's basically it with regard to the writing of the quizzes, apart from to tell you that what I would like to ensure that we have is a set of questions that cover the first 5 options. Yeah, and I'll explain what I mean just now. What you'll see here on the left hand side is options for you in terms of types of questions. Okay, now what we need to ensure with each quiz for each chapter is that each of those types of questions are used, and that's 5. Okay, now in addition to that, for each quiz we need to have at least 3 multiple choice and 3 multiple response questions in there. Now those take a little bit longer to write, but we need to have them in there. You'll note that obviously true or false questions are a little bit easier to write. There's less volume there, but we must have 3. So this quiz will in fact have to be changed. There are 5 in all across the multiple choice and multiple response, but we need 6. Okay, we need at least 6, and I prefer the split to be 3 and 3. Okay, so we need at least 1 in each of these areas, but we need 3 here and 3 here. Okay, now other areas for you in relation to finalizing these quizzes would be in this area of quiz properties. Yeah, so I just click on quiz properties. What you'll see, and this is very, very important, what you'll see here is really a set of settings. Yeah, and the first one is quiz information. Excuse me. And what we need for the settings for each quiz is the letter and the number of the subject. Yeah. We need the chapter number and the full chapter title. Okay. And what we also need to do is to ensure that this information, i.e. the quiz title, is in the introduction as well. So this is a quiz that was a sample on the site, so it doesn't have that same title there. So this quiz title here needs to be exact. Name of the subject, or letter and number, the chapter number, and the full chapter title. Okay, and that has to be replicated here. Okay. Other issues are in relation to the information, and this information needs to be exact as you see here. Yeah, so ACCA Belfast, the pass at email address, and the website. We need nothing more than that. Okay. The logo, I'll try and get the logo over to you, but that's not overly important. We just must make sure that the author information is exact and written exactly as you see it here for all of the quizzes that we produce. Okay. Notice that we have a tick box here for display introduction page. It's pretty simple to do. I wouldn't worry about the audio for the moment, but I would worry about just displaying quiz stats. Okay, so you'll see 2 tick boxes here, basic information with regard to the title of the quiz, and the quiz needs to be saved as that as well when you save your quiz. In terms of settings, the pass rate 50%. Nothing else is required here apart from that your settings here are as you see. So submit all at once, correct answers after submission, and allow user to review questions and answers, and also prompt to resume on quiz restart. Okay. In terms of the quiz result, what I would suggest that we have here is in fact something like try again. Okay, that's a little bit sort of in their faces. I think sorry you failed doesn't sound great. So I think just try again there. Okay, and in terms of the feedback, certainly according to the result, that will be standard within all the quizzes, i.e. congratulations, you passed. This bit here you'll have to adjust. Okay, and in terms of the settings for quiz stats, that tick box is set. Excuse me. So that's it on the quiz result area. Okay. If we just move now to the quiz question settings, pretty straightforward. Really positive points per correct answer is 10. I don't think you'll find that you'll have to change anything here at all. The feedback you'll be dealing with within each of the questions themselves, so nothing more for you to do there at all. Okay, so that's really it on the question settings. In terms of the other areas, this is not relevant apart from the fact that we have no protection tagged. I'll just click OK on that. Now, just one other area here, that when you publish, you'll be publishing for in an SWF format to file an SWF file. So we'll need to receive the SWF files. You'll see that the settings here, these 2 tick boxes have to be set because we will be requiring the students to key in their email address so that they can receive the results of each of the quizzes that they do. A little bit awkward for them perhaps, but it means that they'll get a result form sent to their email address. Okay, so when you publish, each of these tick boxes have to be ticked, and this email address needs to be put in. Okay, so that we also receive a copy of the results that they get, which will help us prompt them perhaps. As you'll see, you'll be publishing to the web, and notice the quiz title above. Just make sure that that is as per the earlier part of the question settings. No other changes required. This is just your local file, and then just click on publish. Okay. So that's basically it. This is just a short introductory webcast on this area. If you do have any questions or queries, please do come back to us as quickly as possible. And do bear in mind that we won't be able to accept quizzes unless they're in line with not only this video, but also the email guide that you were sent the week before last. So I hope this helps. Thanks very much for listening.